This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings. Online at madeformorerealty.com.
So we were running this morning with a guy, JJ, and he was like, "Oh, I saw you." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I saw you on one of those billboards. I saw you on the billboard." I was like, "Oh man, it's starting to work."
So you think you have a pretty enough mug that you should just blast it on billboards all over town so everybody could see your beautiful face?
No, actually,
is that what it is?
I did not want to put my face on there, but a lot of people recommended it. And so I'm like, okay, you guys know what you're doing. You guys have more experience than I do in this.
Has your wife seen the billboard?
Yeah.
And your mom? Maybe not your mom.
I don't know if my mom has.
What did your wife say about it? She drives by and says, "That's my husband right there."
She loves it. Yeah, yeah. No, we jokingly called it Made for More Alley. So Valerie's mom lives in Reno, and she was driving out to the Bay. Well, we have over 20 boards up, and so she drove past probably 12 of them.
Wow.
On her way to the Bay and coming back, and so she was like, "Johnny, it was too much. It was too much. I got tired of seeing your face up there."
Wow.
I'm like,
Thanks, mother-in-law.
That's what I want to hear, mother-in-law. Suegra. It's mother-in-law in Spanish, but suegra, that's what I want to hear. But
and it's funny because it's not like
JJ talked me into doing them though.
It's all over the place. I mean, yeah, I've done them over the years, and as you're driving down the 80 freeway, the corridor there, you're going to see. I cannot not see you now.
Boom. That's the goal.
So do you know how? Well.
The benefit to the team and us is like we're getting 5 to 7 million impressions a week. That's just a week from those billboards. And to put that in context, like I have had one video that went viral. I think it's going to hit 10 million views this week. That's 10 million views globally. This is 5 to 7 million views a week locally. And
next thing you know, he's going to be all over those buses.
Something wrong.
Driving around town.
But
something wrong, call John.
There you go. Something wrong, call John. Nailed it. But the value to the clients is that it drives more people to our websites where our sellers' properties are featured. So they're getting more exposure on their homes than they would otherwise. It brings more buyers to our websites, and that helps us put deals together. We have a massive, over 100 off-market properties like this list that is growing because of this increased exposure. It's just a great thing for the company,
cool,
and the people that work there.
Agreed.
But the one thing, so JJ and I are in agreement about the billboards, but we don't necessarily agree on interest rates, right?
So Johnny, for a while, and I've gotten into this debate with him.
I think so.
There's a lot of people who think that President Trump is right. He's been pushing, in fact, calling Powell an idiot, a moron, his worst appointment he's ever made, that he needs to lower interest rates. And people like Johnny think that's a bad idea. And other people think that it's a good idea. We need it. The economy is stable, and we need to lower interest rates. And you fall on that side, correct?
I think
What's your argument?
Yeah, I do. I think that we've come far enough. There's really the inflation is where it needs to be. And if you go too far, you don't want to go past that tipping point. If you go past that tipping point, then what do you have to do?
Tipping point being like no inflation, like negative inflation?
Well, maybe not negative inflation, but at some point you're going to get to a point where there's interest rates are being held too high for too long, where people can't afford what's being out there, right?
And it's acting as a rev limiter on the economy?
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
It hurts employers, and all of a sudden you're taking those employers and you're reducing the amount of staff that they're able to hire because they can't afford it anymore. They're substituting this out to people over in Asia or whatnot to get their work done instead of here. So at some point, this all happens, and it already is starting to happen that way, where companies have made a lot of money in the past and they still have a lot of money saved up in their coffers because of 2020 and what happened there, but at some point, that's going to change, and we need to start cutting rates so that the employers, the companies, can actually start affording to take out, loans to go do more in America and to grow their businesses and to create more employment.
Historically, though, aren't rates lowered when the economy is struggling? Isn't that a lever the Fed pulls to stimulate?
So the inflation, once you get a certain point in inflation, then that's when the Fed has stated that they are going to lower rates. They needed to stabilize the economy first before they did that. They wanted the interest rates to be at, 2.5% or whatever it was, 3%. We're at 4.25% today. So we're getting to the point where we're getting very close. I don't think we're ever going to get back to that level, because in order to get there, it's going to take several more years. And the companies already have enough money saved up to continue to do these things, to continue to hire, continue to have employment. But you don't want to get to that point. You can't get to unemployment being a certain amount and inflation get to a certain point without having some troubles. Why have trouble when you can just lower rates down?
So when we talk about lowering rates, like what does a rate reduction look like to you?
Well, so the Fed's meeting tomorrow. By the time you're hearing this, they probably have already met. And there's really a 0% chance that they're going to cut tomorrow. Now in September, they're potentially, I think it's a 60% chance
That's what I saw, yeah.
They're supposed to cut. And then again, December, I think there's like a 65% chance. But that's usually only going to be 0.25% cut. You're not necessarily getting these big 1% rate cuts like we had a few years ago when inflation was running rampant, right? So I think that's what they should do now that we're in a position where, hey, things are looking good. We can lower rates. We don't need to hold them artificially high.
So you think a 0.25% interest rate would help?
I think it would go the right direction.
How much do you think? So you recently quoted a statistic from Realtor.com?
Was it Redfin? Sorry.
Redfin?
Yeah.
/ Rocket Mortgage.
/ Rocket, yeah.
Yeah. What was it they found or predicted?
So they did a study that said that for every 1% in rate decrease, so if interest rates today are at 6.75%, if rates go to 5.75%, 5 million Americans are going to enter the housing market. That's a huge amount of people that are going to come in and want to buy a home.
Yeah.
That just goes to show that if you want to buy a house, why would you wait to go compete with all these people versus buying today?
My concern, though, is that if you lower the rates, the prices just go up. The home prices go up or they stay high. Like they're already incredibly high.
Right.
And so that's my concern is like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're moving money around. And so there's two conversations here. One's like the housing market, the residential housing market, and one's like the business, right? The companies, which is kind of what you were speaking to. And that's my concern is that, they dropped rates twice last year.
Yep.
And interest rates, like the federal fund rate went down, but interest rates went up. And that's my main concern is I think that the Fed, if they haven't lost control, I think they are dangerously close to losing control over that lever.
And there's also the impact of tariffs. People are concerned. You've already seen many companies announce that they're raising prices on a lot of different products. So there's that tariff impact. And so people are critical that, hey, like Johnny said, if you bring in 5 million new homeowners or potential home buyers, then obviously you're going to see home prices go up, right? Not a given.
Potentially, unless more sellers come to the market.
Yes, they feel confident that there's a handle on inflation, but they don't want to do anything to mess that up. At least not until, things stabilize a little bit longer.
I'd be more curious, and I haven't explored this, I don't know if you can speak to it, JJ, but like, what would happen if the Fed just went away? Like, do we even need the Fed?
I think it's important.
Really?
I do. I think that the right people in charge at the Fed level is important. I think having somebody there to be able to, not control the market, but to keep a handle on it. I don't know what would happen if it went away. I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to find out.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious because there's a growing trend on like the social media accounts, and there's more people talking about, hey, let's just abolish the Fed. It only serves to enrich the wealthy at the expense of everybody else. And so I don't know if there's enough there, but it's something worth, I think, keeping an eye on in the coming months and years because, you know what? Just because it's there doesn't mean it has to stay.
I think that it looks like that because usually the Fed trying to help the wealthy is, they're looking at these larger employers because those are who is employing most of America. And so they are trying to help those employers because they want to continue to have success and employment.
Right.
And so how can you keep a handle on, helping out the middle class American? I think the way to do that at the best level is to help the employer of that person.
And this comes back to the root issue. So I don't think it comes down to interest rates. I really don't think it matters about home prices. I think it matters about what a person is able to earn in this economy, like what their income can be for their family. Because if you're making enough money, then you can buy a house. Mm-hmm. If you're making enough money, then you can afford groceries. But if, like we were talking about, was it somebody in law enforcement and in the medical field, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a dual income family, and they can't buy a median priced house in their neighborhood,
right?
Because affordability and interest is the homes are priced too high, and the interest rates are too high, so they're getting squeezed both ways. So that's my main thing, is I'd like to see how we can either reduce prices overall, or more importantly, increase incomes. I think that the income solves everything. If people are making enough money, that solves a lot of these pain points.
Yeah, income can go up. I think the big issue that I would say is just inventory, and the reason why it is during COVID, nothing was being built.
Yep.
But people were still having kids, and so population increases, but inventory goes down. That's going to add up to a pretty rough market in the future. Which
I think Jack was a COVID baby.
Yeah,
because he was born 2021. So
was Clara. Yeah,
that's hilarious. So I forget where I was running with all this. So COVID.
Will the Feds reduce rates?
Will the Fed reduce rate? Yeah, I don't think so. We'll see.
They will. There's a lot of people say they will do it later this year. Definitely not in July, but
no.
September, December.
What I do think is going to happen is I do think it's going to be a fire year in 2026.
What do you mean by that?
I think there's going to be a lot of people coming to the market that have been sitting on the sidelines, either both buyers and sellers. Like I have an appointment later this week where the homeowner, one's 83, one's 81, and they're like, we can't live here anymore. Like we don't want to let go of our 2% interest rate, but we literally can't live here. There's people in older age brackets. There's people who are going through family issues. There's people who have growing families. There's people who have been putting off relocating for work. And I just think people have stretched that rubber band as tight as they can, and they're going to start.
And they're waiting
moves.
for something. So even just a small movement in interest rates is
small
going to trigger them.
Stability, like just feeling like, hey, like this is a good time.
But you know what? There's a good expression. They say when there's blood in the streets, that's when you want to buy.
Absolutely.
And so I think overall, when you hear about these things that we're talking about, well, I really want rates to drop. Well, I really want more homes to be on the market. Okay, if you do that, you're going to make it a lot harder on yourself. So yes, interest rates are higher right now, but there are great programs that will allow you to go buy a home, 2-1 buy downs. Get a lower rate today. There are ways to do that.
Yeah.
JJ
you have to have that mentality of taking advantage of the opportunity. Whenever there's a situation, there's always an opportunity.
Yeah, problems
and you
are
have to have that
opportunities.
mindset and tap into people like JJ Mack who know how to take advantage of the season and help you sell or buy.
Problems are opportunities. And so if you're experiencing problems in this market, that's an opportunity for you to find a good deal. JJ can help you get a great deal. If you want an interest rate in what are we at? If you want an interest rate in the 4s, that's possible with JJ. If you want to find an off-market property, that's possible with the Made for More team. If you want to get in a house with very little, almost no money out of pocket, that is possible in today's market because sellers are willing to give deals, right? Because there's all these great down payment programs for home buyers. There's just so much out there right now. So if you're looking for a great deal, if you want to make a move, if you're looking to get top dollar for your house, man, that's a whole nother conversation. But if you want to get top dollar for your house, go to madeformorerealty.com and we can help.
Realtors who care. I know it's a cheesy phrase, but it's true. You want to work with someone who cares about you, the needs of your family, and who's going to get you the most money for your home in the shortest amount of time. That's who you get with Johnny Jennings and his entire team at Made for More Realty. And listen to this. You can get at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. You don't have to do repairs or staging or open houses, just at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. It's simple, it's easy, it's not complicated. What do you got to lose? If you're curious what kind of offers you would get on your home, just reach out to Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty. Hey, there's a reason why they have over 1,000 5-star Google reviews. Don't take our word for it. Go check them out for yourself. Johnny Jennings, Made for More Realty, where you get more for your home.